Hello and welcome. My name is Amita Vadbha. Well, when was the last time you checked the nutritional content of your meals before eating them? Most of us have never bothered to take it seriously. But that exactly is the reasonable thing because nobody has ever told us right from our childhood to do so. Well, we've all heard that it's a healthy diet, which is a first step towards a healthy body. But how many of us have actually followed through? We may blame our work pressure, social responsibilities, and other external stressors for not being proactive. But these are merely excuses. COVID has taught us why prioritizing our own health over everything else is very important. And the first step is to begin with a well-balanced diet. Welcome to our Bajaj Allianz, our General Insurance presents Times Network Living Room Conclave India Health Mission series co-powered by Herbalife, where we feature a discourse between leaders from both the government and from the private sectors across the Indian healthcare sector. We as a society struggle to understand the difference between micro and macronutrients. How much protein intake is important for a person? Are carbohydrates friends or foe? Well, in this episode, we are going to take a deep dive in decoding the importance of macro and micronutrients for leading a prosperous and healthy life. To help us with real-time insights, we are joined by Kent Bradley, who is the Chief Health and Nutrition Officer and Medical Affairs and Nutrition Education Herbalife. Anjali Mukherjee, who is the founder director, Anjali Mukherjee Health Total Private Limited. Padma Shri awardee Dr. Soumitra Rawat, who is the chairman and head, Institute of Surgical Gastroenterology and Liver Transplant, Sir Gangaram Hospital. And we also have Pavleen Gujral, who is an actor and a fitness enthusiast. Welcome to the show. My first question is to you, Anjali. Well, in today's world, of course, when it comes to balancing our personal and professional lives is becoming more increasingly difficult and hectic. What function does ingesting nutrients play a role when it comes to providing nourishment required for life maintenance and growth?
Yes. So nutrients play a very important role in your health. If you stay healthy, it is because of the kind of food that you're consuming. So as far as nutrients go, you have macronutrients and micronutrients. Now, in the macronutrients, you have the protein, fat, carbohydrate. In the micronutrients, you have vitamins, minerals, water, fiber, etc. Now, all of these come from food. And one of the best tips I can give the viewers on micronutrients and macro is that whatever food you're consuming, right, make sure some of the food is very powerful in its, health-giving benefits. For instance, you will get your micro from your macros because all food is protein, fat, carbohydrate. So when you're eating that food, add some, for instance, microgreens. Microgreens are very easy to grow in your house. They have 40 times the nutrients that is there in your regular vegetables. Just toss them in your salad. Have some alsi seeds, maybe just 2 tablespoons a day. That'll give you your omega-3 fats because all of us are having so much of omega-6 that this balances it out. A balanced diet is something that is balanced for you, your constitution, your prakriti, your body type. Have a vegetable juice every day. There are carrots and tomatoes in every Indian home. Just push it through a juicer, whirl it in a mixie. Just have it, strain it and have it.
Right, that would be a difficult choice, especially when you talked about seasonal vegetables, to actually choose between gajar ka halwa or gajar ka juice. Mr. Kent, what is your take, especially when it comes to providing nourishment that is required for maintenance of life and also when it comes to its growth? What's your take on it, sir?
That's a great question. You know, it is a truism that we are living in a world with increasing what I call continuous partial attention. There's just so much going on in our lives. And in that regard, it also includes an increased stress on our bodies. And because of all this, I would call noise that's happening in our lives, we may forget what our body needs. And so nutrition plays a very important role in being educated. Essentially our nutrition IQ or intelligence quotient needs to be mindful of the types of nutrients our body needs. These are called essential, meaning our body cannot live without them. And what are they and how can we make sure that we get the nutrients we need? The other thing that the stress of life causes is a lack of decision-making sometimes in our choices. And so we grab for things that are convenient or on the go. We don't take the time to necessarily prepare the kinds of foods that are important. So ensuring that we get nutrients that we need in a convenient manner is also a critical part of ensuring that we get our body needs in the midst of the stress of life.
Dr. Rawat, before we actually dig deeper into the relationship between health and nutrition, sir, could you help us remind us of various types of nutrients that are essential for everyday consumption, sir? How do we actually distinguish between micro and macronutrients?
Thank you for inviting me. I think the essential nutrients are carbohydrate, fat, protein, vitamins, mineral, water, and fibers. These are the essential nutrient. Micronutrient or the macronutrient are carbohydrate, protein, and fat. So this is the macronutrient. Macronutrient provides us the energy. Micronutrient is present in macronutrient, and these are the vitamins and mineral, and this is required in a very small quantity. But if your macronutrient, they are not from the good source, you won't have vitamin and mineral in your diet. So what happens? Macronutrient prevent disease, it helps in body growth, and micronutrient deficiency can lead to anemia. You can have a scurvy, you can have a goiter. So as a result of which, you need to have a food which is rich in good sources of vitamin and minerals.
Right. Thank you for that insight, Dr. Rawat. Kent, another question to you, especially when we talk about nutrition, because this is something which is very complex and personal. Like each consumer, they have their own distinct set of dietary requirements that may change over time. Exactly what is Herbalife's aim, objective, and the inspiration for offering such nutritional supplements in the Indian market? Would you please also share your insights on customer response that is coming in from across the country?
Well, we're inspired to help people live their best lives, and to live our best lives, we have to have the nutrients we need so that our body can perform in its optimal manner. And we also, a critical part of it is realize that there is a personalization process that's needed. You know, we've been doing this for over 4 decades, and we have a lot of science that backs what we do. And we focus on that global nutrition philosophy that understands what our body needs from the types of nutrients we bring into our bodies, and formulate that into products that are supportive of one's needs. And so what we do is we personalize it and regionalize it in many ways so that people can more easily get the nutrients they want in a way that is appropriate for them. Nutrient density is critically important. And we then deliver it in local variations. So we have variations of shakes and vitamins. We also have regional variations that also involve taste and flavor, because we know that there are different flavors. So there are many ways in which we're cognizant or recognize the complexity of nutrition. And we are excited that regardless of where one lives, we can personalize through this various process to make sure that individuals are, like I said, we're purpose-driven, science-backed to ensure people get what they need so that they can live their best life.
Pavleen, thank you also for taking out your time. But I want to ask you, because you're a professional who is often in front of the camera and is working from one meal to the next. But how do you ensure that you are actually incorporating the proper sort of nutrients in your diet? And do you feel that what you consume affects your overall well-being as well?
Thank you so much for the question. It's very important what I put in my body, because you are what you eat, honestly. The days when I have to shoot or when there is an event, I make sure that I don't overdo my food, and I always carry nuts or fruits or juices from home. because although on a set and even when you're on the move, there is availability of whatever you want, but the thing is that it really depends on the surroundings. And I've noticed that when I watch my food, when I'm careful about my food a couple of days before a shoot or an event day, my energy is so much more. Depending on my sleep, depending on the food that I eat, it really makes a difference to my performance as an actor and as an anchor. So I try to balance it out. So especially lunchtime, you feel like that afternoon siesta, but when you're shooting for 12 hours a day, then you can't really afford to, sit idle even for a minute. So lunch is super important. So when I'm on set, then I try and just stick to the vegetables and the dals and maybe the milk products like the dahi. I try to have a lot of juices. I also carry a lot of nuts with me because they are the easiest thing to carry. Anything that is fresh and is freshly made and freshly consumed is going to do wonders to your body. So I don't believe in things that are in a packet. Packaged food is just not my scene. So even on set, I try to always have the fruits that are available.
All right, so there is more coming up on the other side of the show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to Bajaj Allianz General Insurance presents Times Network Living Room Conclave India Health Mission Series, co-powered by Herbalife Well Treatment. But what I want to understand from you, sir, is the contribution of neglected macro and micronutrients intake that actually develops such kind of cancers, sir.
Yeah, you are right in the way. I think the most important thing is having a very healthy and balanced diet. If you look at all the cancers, which include like the GI cancer, which we deal with, cancer of the esophagus, cancer of the stomach, pancreatic cancer, colorectal cancer, liver cancer, and gallbladder cancer, there is a correlation between the dietary intake you take and the development of the cancer. If somebody is overweight and has got a obesity, there is a high risk of cancer. The lack of physical activity is also a risk for cancer. Having a high fat diet, which is full of trans fat and saturated fat, they increase the risk of factor. And if you are having a low fruits and vegetable, low fiber diet, that also increases the risk of cancer. And also red meat, charred food, processed, salted and smoked food, this also increases the risk.
I think Anjali can give more insights of that, especially when it comes to such kind of, dietary requirements are concerned, Anjali, because talking about macronutrients such as fats and proteins and carbs, what Dr. Rawat was also talking about, they offer a lot of energy to the body. They prevent sickness. They allow it to function properly. What exactly is the micronutrient that actually contains all the goods would you recommend to our show's viewers today?
So Amita, there are three types of macronutrients. From the word macro, you know that these are required by the body in large quantities. So you have proteins, you have fats, you have carbohydrates. These are three macronutrients. Now carbohydrates provide you with energy so that you can walk, you can run, you can think, and they have a beneficial effect in the sense that they prevent you from getting tired. You will notice that they also have a slightly sedative effect, like if you have rice in the night with some dal, you tend to feel sleepy. It helps you to sleep better. But on the side of caution, I must say that overconsumption of carbohydrates will be stored as fat. Talking about proteins, proteins are the building blocks. Your muscles are made of protein. In fact, your body is a heap of protein. If you consume the right type of proteins, it will help you in repair, in growth, and in maintenance. It boosts your immune system. Talking about fats, fats are highly essential for health. But again, we talk about the good fats. So what do fats do? They provide you the largest number of calories. It's 9 calories per gram versus 4 calories per gram for protein and carbohydrate. So these are really calorie dense. So we have to take it in smaller quantities, though they are macronutrients, but you got to have the good fats.
Anjali, I mean, especially to discuss
Yes.
whether
Yes.
rice is good or not, and which kind of rice and how much could one consume, and especially when it comes to the options and alternatives
There's a
for
lot of
vegetarians. But thank you for giving us that
That's
list.
true.
I want another answer from Kent, because Kent, what kind of macro and micronutrient advancements in products have Herbalife have also introduced in India to promote healthy aging, brain health, and most importantly, immune support?
We are always on the forefront of understanding where science is telling us gaps exist and how to deliver those nutrients in a way that is helpful. I think it's really exciting times because we are recognizing a whole area around the power of plants, which actually India is very familiar with the long tradition in Ayurvedic medicine and Ayurvedic health. But what we are looking at is how to capture the kinds of nutrients that are supportive in various parts of our systems. And so we focus on what are those macronutrients and micronutrients and phytonutrients that could be supportive of that. Well, we already know, for example, in healthy aging, it's really important for us to maintain our joint health. I'm maybe I shouldn't disclose this, but I'm 62 and I still can run a marathon. And so when I want to be moving, as long as I can in a way that is supportive, and we understand that our joint support is really important, and to support the joint health, we have a specific supplement called joint support, which is made of glucosamine, but as well as a combination of some minerals, copper and manganese, as an example. You also mentioned immunity. And so let's talk about that. Like I said, our global nutrition philosophy realizes that at the cellular level, the metabolism that occurs within the cell is reliant on specific vitamins and minerals. And so Formula 2 multivitamin is a critical part of that. But in addition to that, going back to the Ayurvedic tradition and understanding, we know that there are phytonutrients or plant-based nutrients that could also be supportive. And so we have a Vitalife immune health product that is dedicated to supporting the optimum health of immune function in the body. And this is done through a specific formulation of 100% pure standardized extracts of kalmig and tulasi. And so we understand that these particular extracts have supportive functions in providing support to our natural immunity.
Pavleen, you are highly self-aware and cautious person, but when it comes to prioritizing and promoting a healthy lifestyle, what kind of active lifestyle and dietary changes do you think that one can adopt to reach their fitness goal?
I get this question a lot, especially on social media and people whom I meet. They say that how are you able to manage, all of this, and how are you able to stay fit when you're working constantly? But can I tell you, my work is also physical work. I am fortunate enough to have a profession which is not really a desk job, because that's not made for me. I'm not made for that. So it requires, physically it requires me to move around a lot. So that keeps me fit. But for people who don't have a physically demanding job, I feel you have to dedicate at least an hour in a day to your health, which may include any kind of meditation, breathing, yoga, even 30 to 40 minutes of exercise. This has to be incorporated into your routine if you want to have a long, healthy life and an active life. And the 15 minutes that are left, you have to think about your food that you are going to consume in a day. I look at my food before I consume it, and I wonder, how is this going to help me? If it is not going to help me, if it is purely for my taste buds, then my quantity of consumption of that food really reduces. I am not saying that I don't have dessert. I do. I have dessert practically after every meal. But I try to make it really small quantity. If I want a chocolate, I'll probably have 2 squares. If I want to have an ice cream, I'll probably have a couple of bites.
That was a valuable insight there. Dr. Rawat sir, final question to you, because when we divide micronutrients in groups, we get three major types. That is vitamins, minerals, and also a phytochemical, or even when it comes to the phytonutrients. What, in your opinion, how do these directly impact our gut health, which further impacts our overall well-being, and how should we actually take care of it, sir?
I think it's very important that we need to have all three of them in our diet. That we need to have a vitamins, which is A, B, C, D, K, and E. We need to have a mineral, and there has been lately quite a talk about phytochemicals. These are found in plant-based products, like the source which is rich is broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprout. And these are the ones which are like carotenoids, flavonoids, and these have been truly seen that it strengthens our immune system, reduce inflammation, and it prevents DNA damage, and it helps also in the repair of DNA. And there has been some publication that it is slowing the cancer cells also. So these phytochemicals are very important.
So basically what Dr. Rawat wants to say is eat your veggies. Eat all of your vegetables, because these are the best alternatives that you can get, that the nature has provided, and you can stay healthy. Of course, everything should be had in moderation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of this conversation and helping us understand the requirements of leading a healthy lifestyle. That will be all for today. Thank you very much for joining in.